Good morning, everybody. I've got to learn to move the other PC that I'm speaking into my laptop so that it faces the screen because I don't have a camera or microphone on my trading PC, which is where I'm sharing the screen from. Anyway, so good morning, everybody, and there's a lot going on, so I'm going to kind of get right to it in my inimitable style. Good morning. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. Yesterday, we had a down day, down about 0.8%, Mideast tensions, VIX kind of popped over to 0.5-ish, 21.5, which is some VIX inflection points that we've been talking about. Over under 20 was the main one. And then there were some calls at 22. So whatever market maker hedging that caused was part of the story. On top of that, we had on Twitter, Scott Nations pointed out from Nations Index that TDEX and SDEX and all the volatility indexes were showing bid for downside skew, extreme, 1 and 2 and 3 standard deviation out of the money puts were being bid up, which provides us with that potential rally fuel or break. If we don't have an incident, let's just say the mining of the Straits of Hormuz, not that I'm a macro bro, but that's probably wouldn't be a good thing. I don't think anybody would be happy about that. And if the taking out of this nuclear reactor site, which seems to be pretty much inevitable at this point, again, I'm not a geopolitical expert any more than I was a virologist during COVID or a constitutional law scholar during the impeachment hearings. But that said, that's what seems to be in the cards. Nor am I a VIXologist, but I'm going to talk about VIX. So anyway, here we go. So let's, overnight range, after the close, we kind of dropped down to around 59.65, managed to reclaim 6,000, and now we're just kind of in the middle, a little green from yesterday's close. And that's the situation that we have going into today. Now, on FOMC day in general, I don't play on condors. I might a little bit. I try to look for scalps. We try to have vol stays bid. You don't get the normal theta, the normal compression that you get in expected move in the range going into FOMC. With VIXpiration today, that just adds more uncertainty. My base case, as I mentioned in my note, was that since, and I'll look at we'll look at VIX in a minute, a little more granularly. Since we are ITM on those 21.5 calls, I think there were some big trades right around there yesterday, like 63,000 contracts in the 1/0 DTE that looked like they were buying a tight spread in there. So let's see what happens with that. So that's going to be fun. So, but once that unclenches, we might get a surprising vol drop, not a big one, maybe back to 20-ish, maybe below, and then some kind of reset. That's kind of what I'm just thinking. There's some kind of reset with the FOMC and everything else on board. It's not going to be a cakewalk. And I'll go through my daily plan in a minute. So let's see, where do we go from here? Let's take a look at options depth. And then we'll look at mental Q. Then we'll look at gamma edge. Look at all the toys. Okay, and while I'm doing that, I'd like to pull up my note just so I can make sure that I give you guys, that I don't forget some key points as I start rambling. You guys know by now that I like to talk. And I found that, never mind what I found. Doesn't really matter. It's not about me, it's about you. Okay, so let me just look at my note so that I kind of keep some sort of structure today. All right, so we talked about the FOMC. We know that up until the presser happens, systematics and hedge funds and those kind of guys are going to sort of keep their powder dry. We have a special opening quote of VIX at 9 o'clock. And so expect something there. All right, so the expected move, 59, 40, 60, 30. Let's go back to, and that's kind of where the IC whale was, right above those and below them. The IC whale tends to sell around 20 delta at the close, which is basically the expected move. So he sells the expected move, which he did today. He sold about 30,000 contracts. So that's, kind of right in the middle there, all things being equal, is where the forces pushing us up and down should kind of settle us out. So his put side is 59.10. And I posted screenshots yesterday. I'll post some stuff on Twitter. I don't want to go back and forth. About showing his time of trade. He started at around 4 to 6 minutes after the close. I forgot, and he just kept ramping up. So let's go back to options depth, and there he is. This is market maker positioning. Okay. So I should just move this over here. That way maybe I'll be looking at the camera. It might be a little better. What am I showing you? No, that's not what I want to show you. I screwed it up. I screwed it up. Okay. That's because I moved it to a different screen. Okay. We'll figure that out next time. Next time I'll have the camera thing a little better. Okay. So here we are. Now I know the trick for the camera. Okay, so here we are. Here, this is market maker position. So here's the short calls. Here's the short puts. Not much in between. So centroid should kind of work out around here. We have 605. Kind of this market maker short. So we have the 6,605 node where something might happen. We kind of have this little stalling over here, and then open air here and open air above. And so like I said in my note, kind of low energy sticking in this zone. Chop zone is going to kind of be right around in here. 59.70, 75, a little bit below where we closed yesterday, call it yesterday's low, 59.75, up to around 60.20 where we've been kind of stalling out, where we have this hedging pressure coming in. Now remember, this is the whole complex, not just the 0 DTE, so there's other stuff in there. And of course we have the short market maker short customer long calls on the other side of the ICs that could be magnets should we overshoot them, which happened twice the last few days. Once we overshoot them, we tend to overshoot, come back to them, maybe even tease off of them and kind of bounce away. That's just my anecdotal observation from watching this for a while. And so if this wasn't an FOMC day, regards from the other side of the world. Thank you. Where's the other side of the world? Well, we'll find out. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, and I also launched a poll yesterday on Twitter. Is the mother of all bombs going to drop on Tehran, on the nuclear reactor, during Powell's press conference? I think that would be a heck of a story. And of course, that, takes the spotlight off of Jay Powell. And I don't think that anybody would want to do that on purpose. Anyway, just teasing, but it's kind of, so anyway, I digress. So let's go from there. So if we break below, let's go through a quick if then, and there's a lot of points I want to make. I can't do everything at once. I posted South Korea, okay. How's your stock market doing? I traded your ETF, the 2 or 3X one, after you guys had that whole crazy Parliament thing, I don't know, earlier in the year. It was a nice little trade once it stabilized. Anyway, I forgot the symbol, KSA, I think. So let me go back over here. Oh, 8:31, not bad. Good. I have time to ramble. If there's anybody on X, I see YouTube comments. How about X comments? Like, retweet, do all that stuff. Engagement, guys. So if we go down here, I would expect to go down and reclaim and go back up here, back up toward the chop zone. If this would break, next bounce zone would be the 59.50. Next bounce zone would be right around here. We've been having a lot of action there, the 25.30. If you look back even at a chart. We've been having a lot of action down around here. And then, of course, we have the IC whale down here. And stacked along with the IC whale is the JP Morgan short call market maker long gamma of 39,000-ish contracts at 59.05, sticky, supportive. If we break below it, we drift back up to it in theory. So unless something really breaks, that's kind of the name of the game. So I might be tempted to sell some puts today. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, and the trades I put in yesterday on YouTube all worked out beautifully. Thank you very much. I tweeted about that. So let me switch gears and let's talk about QYLD. Okay, all right, okay, I see what I'm doing. Okay, let's talk about QYLD. And for that, let's go, well, we're on VIX already, so let's talk about VIX. This is Gamma Edge. Paul Duncan, the founder, great guy, smart quant, and also a guy I call a friend and a mentor. Although we have had friendly disagreements about what certain features on the map might mean from time to time, but that's fun. Okay, so anyway, here we are, 2150. I'm not sure where VIX is right now. All this stuff is in the money. See, all these calls. So this is going to have to be hedged out. Some kind of adjustment to what's going on in July. And if we look, we got, again, that same 100,000 contracts. Now this might be stale. I probably should refresh it. Let's just look at July. Same difference here, whatever. We have more puts than calls. So again, less hedging for this, more hedging for this. So that kind of puts us up here. 25s. There's always a lot of like 20, 25 kind of spreads or people looking for the convexity up here. We have 300 and we have 305,000 up here at 35. I sold them. I'm going to admit, I see jobless claims, housing starts. I have CNBC on back in the background. I'm looking at, I'm not a macro bro. I got Tim, my macro bro, floating around somewhere. I don't know if he's watching. But all I know is that, all I care about is that the reaction was meh to positive, so good enough. The rest of it's none of my business. I'm a trader. What happened here? Okay. Now let's go back to, oh yeah, I went here to talk about QILD. And as those of you that have been following me for the last couple of years, I've been talking about QILD and the other override funds and structured products more broadly. Chem, Carson talks about them ad nauseum for years and the effect they have. I'm going to focus on QILD in particular, not the whole mess. And so let's look at, where are they? 2135. I think it might be just easier to look at the chain. Something is wrong here. Where are they? There they are. Okay. 4,731-ish ITM calls, 21325. So let's quick. Hold on. Not that I don't trust anybody, but probably wouldn't be a good idea to type my password online. Just because China might be watching. DeepSeek is probably looking for me right now. Anybody tried DeepSeek? I never tried it. I don't trust having those guys on my computer. I'll tell you the truth. I don't have TikTok. Maybe I'm paranoid, but what do I need them on my computer, on my phone for? Just in case if we have a war with China, I might not want to have them in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Now that I distracted you by babbling while I got that logged in. Oh, you tried a Genial? Oh, is Genial one of their little modules? And how is it? Okay, well, I don't want to get too far. As you guys know, I use AI to do my writing and editing and all the little emojis and crap like that. I do the analysis. I do my thinking, and I make it say what I'm trying to say. Sometimes that's a half-hour fight to take something that I wrote and got it to come out right. Full disclosure. Okay, so let's take a look at, I wanted to see what the delta of that was. I'm actually glad that we had the pullback. That makes the delta a little lower, gives it a little more convexity. And what did we say the number was? What was the number? Who remembers? Who was paying attention in class? There it is. So 79 delta, not much change from yesterday. So they will be buying 4,173-ish contracts of NDX today, starting at around 11:30 per their prospectus. We see it all the time. So what you're going to see me do, and I'll be tweeting it because it's fun. SPX mail trading view disappears. Can you take a look? Yeah, I'll take a look afterwards. Thanks. It's working on mine. So, you're saying the actual, yeah, I got an email from them. I got to fix that. Thanks for reminding me. So what you're going to see me doing is, I'm going to change this. I'm going to have, well, I'll just do it one day. All right, we'll do it 2 days. I'm going to be screenshotting the buying and selling and the prices of that option. And you'll be seeing volume come in. If we wanted to have fun, just for fun, since I have a captive audience, let's go back to when it actually happened. Let's go back. Okay, so here's the actual trade going in. Where was it? May 20th. Here's the actual trade going in. The selling. Then there was some action here. Now here's just price action. If you look here, there's no volume. Somebody got cute. Some people, sometimes me, but not me this time, get cute and kind of trade around this. I didn't get cute this time. So anyway, you'll be seeing me screenshot the 1 minute. So here's people getting cute with it. 30 contracts, retail guys like you and me, not the big boys and girls that I know of. So you'll be seeing me doing that. What do I have here? Oh yeah. I did a call fly on my other platform. I did a put fly yesterday for a couple of pennies, just to see if maybe we can, if we close below 20. And it looks like that's money thrown out. Over here, I did a variation of the IC whale. I was actually more aggressive on the put side. I did it before his trade went on. I did it looking at the 20 delta a few minutes before the close. And I went a little further away on top. So you see that's green. And here's a fly that I think I've had this on for a while. This is a July fly, centering 5,900 to try to maybe capitalize on the JPM thing. So here's 50%, 50%, which I don't know why he doesn't do it. I could put this in I already have a closing order out at 50%. I could put this in, take my 50% and go home. I only did one. I do one for fun, for science. Sometimes I do more, but anyway, so that's what's going on over there. Let's see what else there is to talk about. We have the QILD roll. We have the extra theta, whatever you want to call it, of that extra day going into Friday. So that just kind of adds more interesting stuff. Let's go back to options depth, and then we'll look at the chart again. Yeah, I really need to have a camera right here. I got to figure that out. I might have to buy an external camera. I probably won't. I'll probably try to maneuver my iPad or something over here. I don't know. That'll be a weekend project. Okay, so let's take a look at Charm. Yesterday we had some votes for the pin. One or two people had the breakdown. Everybody, including me, was thinking the 60-20-ish or 6,000. I did buy a put fly when we were up there, when we were like 60-10, 60-20. So I mean, I paid about 40 cents. I got out for about $1 and change, just a couple, nothing big, just to keep my interest. And I like seeing the way the deltas move on those. A 5 or 10 wide fly is cheap, and it gives me a lot of information about how we're moving. It's hard for me to explain, and how the straddle is moving. Okay, so where do we pin? All right, so as you can see here, when the colors are sort of muted, that basically means that there's not a lot of pressure. If you kind of look at the numbers, it'll tell you how many contracts market makers have to buy or sell. I'm not going to go through all that stuff right now. I'm probably missing vol signals analysis, which I'll catch up on later. So let's take a look. Where are we? All right, so what's the most likely pins? All right, so let's just kind of go broad and zoom in. Most likely pins, okay, underneath or above the IC whale in here or in here, 25, 30-ish, or up 45, right below this 50. We got another pin zone right here, 59.75, 59.975 is just below 6,000. We have a 6,000 flip, a little over, flips up near the close. If we're below it, flips down. Then we have this other pin kind of right near yesterday's low, a pin below the 50 level, and here's if the whale gets harpooned. Any pinfluence guesses? I'm going to go with the middle way for now and say somewhere in here. I think there's so much, and I kind of said it facetiously in my note. I know it's hard for you to imagine me being facetious or sarcastic. That with all this going on, with the Middle East, with the FOMC, with Vixpiration, with large OPEX, wouldn't that just piss off all the macro bros and everybody who's looking for movement if we just stayed consolidated and stuck with this big, large OPEX right above us and below us? So tariffs, all that stuff, So I'm just kind of thinking we get stuck. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, you're going, oh, wow. So we got one person thinking, kind of getting stuck in this zone in here. And if the market doesn't like people blowing up nuclear reactors or about to blow up nuclear reactors in a foreign country, I could see maybe the market getting a little upset. Then we have a couple right here near the 6,000, 62.89. Okay, I like that. I like that. Brother's got his calculator out. He's right over here. Good morning, Selena. Okay. And now we have an unclenched kind of trade and a whale harpooning, which will bring the whale back at 60,000 contracts or more for Friday, options expiration day. Get your popcorn, folks. I'd love to see it. Not that I want to see anything bad happen to the whale. Free Willy is what I always say, but it would certainly be interesting, wouldn't it? Hold on, shameless plug time. Give me a second. I'm going to put in all my links and all that kind of stuff, which buddies of mine tell me I have to, that quote unquote, I should do right when I start. And maybe one of these days I will. Let's see. Okay, of course I can't find them. Okay, well, I'll have them in another place. We'll go to the other place that's not organized yet. Okay, so first things first. I do something on Substack, as most of you know. Some stuff free, some stuff paid. Plus, we have a chat on Substack. There's my Substack link. I have discount codes for everybody. Mentor Q, which is the only one that I know of that has gamma levels for futures and a wide array of products, and they have a scanner that they're working on. They have all kinds of interesting stuff. I do a little mod stuff for them. TWI, I don't have a link yet. Trade with Insight Scalpers. My brother Ivan, Ivy the Second. Great guy, great trader. I've had the privilege of trading alongside him. And he's over there with that crew. He has options depth. I don't have a VolSigs link. I'll have to get that. I got to get all those links and stuff. There's options depth. In case you somehow don't know, my Twitter or my YouTube, that's all in there. Okay, enough with the marketing. Oh, and Binkus may or may not be on for scalping. He's been on his private Twitter feed, not Twitter feed, excuse me, his private, he has a little subscription service also on Substack. We're talking about merging them. We're trying to figure out how to do that. So he's been doing his scalping on Substack at his 1:30 and 3 o'clock Iron Condor levels, which have been working like a charm. He's been killing it, I gotta say. Not because he's my brother, but because he's been killing it. There got some people here that are on it, and if you subscribe to my stuff, I comp you with his. If you subscribe to his, he comps you with mine until we kind of get it figured out if we ever do. And that's it. So we have a couple votes for pins. I don't see any comments from X. Does anybody there on Twitter say hello? I don't see any comments on Twitter, and I'm not going to pull up my phone and start looking over there. Okay, almost 9 o'clock. I'm going to go see what Valsigs has to say. I retweet his stuff often. Also a mentor, also a great guy, former market maker, knows how the game is played. He trained market makers, very high-end, high-level stuff, a VIP program, mentorship program. So we have some real fancy stuff and more fancy stuff coming. Alma, most of you know Alma, really great quantity stuff. Those are some follows that I use, and I extract what I can and synthesize it, blend it, and try to give you my synthesized analysis of what's going to happen. And so far, it's working out. Okay, let's see. Okay. Any last pin guesses? Red or green today? How about that? Let's go. Red or green? Who wants to say, let me see, who wants to say green? We're slightly green now, so you already have an edge. Who wants to say green? Green going once, green going twice. Okay, we got a red. We got a red and nothing burger. We got flat nothing burgers. So let's see. Next time I'll launch a poll so we can have a number. Okay, let me see. I got one red, one nothing burger, one green, so they cancel, an extra red, so the reds are up by one, another flat. Oh, so now the greens come in, that cancels the one red. Oh, now we got greens up by one. Now we got reds. Now we got it evenly. And we have the channel persists, which actually sums up what we just said. That was fun. Okay, and yeah. Oh, wait, we got a late entrant. Flat, yeah. And a lot of people are on the flat camp. And by flat, I'm going to call flat within the expected move. I'm going to call flat within the expected move. And the expected move as of right now, so I'll give you actual numbers. Let me see if the SPX, no, that one didn't update. So we'll look at ES. So expected move is 40. I'm going to say definitely within the expected move. 40 points from here is whatever it is, 50 on the bottom and 30 on top. So yeah, going within the expected move is a cop out. So let's go. Let's take a look at some deltas. Let's try to do this in a quantity way. Neutral all day, pop and fade into close red. That kind of makes some sense. Close red with the holiday, with a potential war-ish in the Middle East wouldn't be crazy to expect. I couldn't say, well, what are you talking about, dude? And of course, it depends. I'm sure Trump was not going to say anything that's going to piss the market off. Okay, so let's look at deltas. Let's look at around the 30th delta. So I'm going to say 60, 65 down here on the bottom. And I'm going to say 60, 15. I'm going to just say this range kind of holds. I maybe want to go up a little bit more. Nah, at 60 is a number. This is without looking at options there. I'm going to say somewhere this range holds. So if we're a normal day and I were into being a heathen, I would look at something like this for an aggressive trade. Something like that. If I wanted safety, I would duck behind all this stuff and go wide. Look at that juice over there. And shit, pardon my French. You can go below 6,900. Now this is tempting, folks. If these numbers are right, you can go down here. What does this look like? 60 cents. That's in the one for fun category. We ain't breaking 5,900. I think, unless there's a war, in which case we can then do something like this and just kind of turn it into a broken wing fly. So if we put the whole thing on as a broken wing fly, one, two, one, two, one, but I want to add one more here. So I'd have to add one more here. I did one of these yesterday. It was fun. 132, that's good. 85-cent credit. Let's put that in and see how that is out. It'll be on Twitter. If it fills, I'll post the fill. I'll post the results. Not investment advice. That's the trader, OG trader having fun. I fed the goats. First thing in the morning, I fed the goats. That's why I was late getting stuff done. Okay, Trump, we know he's easy to save through. We're not going to take him out or kill him, at least not yet. That was yesterday. We don't want missile shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience are wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so, what are those things? Okay, so we have a list. Oh yeah, I wanted to put Brad's comment in here because actually, and plus we have the FOMC press conference, and so you get those up 10 and 20 point wiggles. I haven't done this lately, but I used to buy like SPY on FOMC days. I want to play it small. I'm not looking for big money. Once in a while I would do it with SPX. It was more for fun. I like to do shit for fun. I used to do stuff like, maybe I'll do it today to amuse myself. Do something like buy an at the money strangle. And because I'm a theta junkie and I can't help it, I might do something like that. Something like this. I'm not looking to be equal. I'm just kind of looking not to spend a lot of money just to play games. I might do something like that, whatever. And then what I do when I do these is FOMC comes up and I'll put in each leg separate. Again, non-investment advice, guys. So let's just say I did this. Just arbitrarily pick something. If I did this for 298, I put it in, sell at $4. And I'll do the other thing blind. Before the trade goes in, I put that in blind. I do the same thing on the other side. And between the announcement and the press conference, they fill. Then I might add a few more. I might screw around, but that's just to amuse myself. Okay, I have something else in private chat. Green. Oh, David voted green. Okay, I'm going to go. Vol Sig's already started. I'm missing all the fun. Take care. Trade safe. Thanks for listening.